What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mo Flow, and this is Sunday Shoutouts, where we shout out a new artist every week, shedding a little bit of light on what they're doing, where they're coming from, where you can find their music, etc., etc. So this week is episode 10 of Sunday Shoutouts, and this week we have a very hard-working individual in the hip hop game. He goes by the name of Graphic Melee. Now, Graphic Melee is an MC slash producer slash DJ based out of the Portland, Maine area, but says that he actually represents for both Portland, Maine, as well as Richmond, Virginia. Now, Graphic's start to music really, in my opinion, began fresh out of the womb, being surrounded by a lot of different musicians in his family. He began to actually sing at the age of 3 years old, which is crazy because some kids don't even talk by three. And then by four was already memorizing hip hop verses thanks to his older cousin, and really just falling in love with this music thing at a very, very young age. He says by 9 he was already working on his freestyle ability and practicing little rhymes here and there, as well as still singing and tidying that up as well. And by the time he hit 15, he said that's when he really started writing, though, and started taking things more serious on that note and expressing himself, through the pen and the pad. Now, Graphic's musical background as a whole is very immense. He actually started playing the violin in his school orchestra in 5th grade, he says, then switching the next year in 6th grade to the upright bass. And he actually, little side note, he said that some of the pieces that he wrote when he was in school playing the upright bass actually were adopted by his orchestra, and they began performing those pieces by the time he had reached high school, which is super cool. I feel like that would be awesome, as a musician, just even getting the respect just from like your school band. Now, in 9th grade, Graphic began to play the electric bass and started playing in bands around that same time as well. He actually states that being an electric bass player landed him a scholarship for college down the line, also, which I think is super cool. Now, Graphic continues to go on and say that, around 15, 16 is when he also started to dabble with drums and, regular guitar, not so much just the bass, and starting to DJ, as well as, he started to dabble in the production side and the recording side of the music thing as well for himself. So at this point, there's so much under this man's belt, and he's still so young, but he still keeps on going. By 17, Graphic Melee decided, I'm gonna add piano to the repertoire. So he taught himself how to play piano as well, because he'd always been surrounded by a piano anyways, so it only makes sense to, you know, learn how to play one on top of every other instrument that he plays, and singing and freestyling and writing. So all of this being said, I think maybe he finally had enough. He ate enough knowledge. He didn't need any more for the moment. So at 18 is actually when he states that he started performing more as an MC, and began producing hip hop and electronic music and playing a steady schedule of different kinds of jazz and funk kind of gigs as well. So he's already, even when he's taking his first steps into hip hop, he still has all these other genres that he's worked with: jazz, funk, electronic. The list goes on, honestly. Now, from there, you can already tell at a young age, if you've been watching this dude, you can already tell he's destined for big things. So his early 20s were spent, mostly DJing and playing in a variety of bands that would eventually lead to Graphic's primary focus being his solo work by the age of 23. So for those of y'all, quick recap. Graphic Melee learned a million instruments. I'm just kidding. No, Graphic Melee learned a lot of different instruments though, and a lot of different musical aspects, and ranging from producing to DJing to playing live music in an orchestra to freestyling to writing. And so he hit 23 and had already done so much with other people. He finally decided to take that step away and begin to work on his solo career. Now, he says that his first solo album ever released was back in 2011. Now, that was what, 11 years ago from this video? And he says that with his most recent release, which we will get into, he will have dropped a total of 23 solo hip hop projects. So if you didn't think that that was already a lot to have under your belt, Graphic actually says that one of his favorite achievements was getting the opportunity to DJ for Kool Keith. Now, Kool Keith, I guess, had just stumbled across some of Graphic Melee's work, and he actually reached out to him personally and asked if he wanted to DJ at a show that he was headlining. Graphic said that he had always been a fan of Kool Keith, so having him message him personally and being able to hit the stage with him was such an incredible experience. And I could imagine why that would be, if you're already a fan of somebody and they happen to message you personally and they're like, "Hey, you want to DJ for me?" I know myself, I'd probably freak out a little bit, like internally. I may not show it, but internally I'd be like, "Yeah, hell yeah." You know what I'm saying? Now, on top of being an MC, a producer, a DJ, just an overall musical powerhouse of a person, Graphic Melee also helps run events and is the resident DJ at Monday of the Minds, which is a hip hop collective based out of Portland, Maine, with a focus on community hip hop showcases. As well as Monday of the Minds, though, Graphic also hosts a monthly producer showcase in Portland, Maine at Sun Tiki Studios the first Wednesday of every single month. So this man is working. Does he ever have free time? That's what I'm wondering. I'm gonna have to hit him up. Like, do you ever have free time? Because this man is working. Because on top of the solo work and the events and DJing and producing and recording and everything else we do as artists, he is also a part of a couple musical duos as well. These include Party Killer, which is a duo between Graphic and formerly featured artist Il Murray, as well as a part of the duo Graphic Antics, which is a duo with Graphic Melee, obviously, as well as Ant the Symbol. Now, if you guys want to go check those out after you check out some Graphic Melee solo work and you fall in love, we will have links to those below as well. You know how we do. This is Sunday Shoutouts. That's what we're doing here. We're shouting them out. We're spreading the love. You get those links. Anyways, I'm going to shut up now. Some of Graphic's major influences as an artist include Jay Dilla, Prince, Madlib, John Coltrane, DJ Premier, and the Notorious B.I.G. When I asked Graphic how he would describe his music, he said, "Imagine if Jay Dilla, Big L, and Run the Jewels formed Voltron. Expect heavy beats, dusty vinyl, dirty synthesizers, and verses from a disciplined MC that takes his craft very seriously." So I know you're all interested in checking my dude Graphic Melee's music out, so I suggest firstly going and checking out his latest album as an MC titled Inner Space. Now, Graphic says Inner Space was the 22nd solo album he has released and describes it as 8 songs he wrote, produced, and recorded in late 2020 to early 2021 after having a very introspective year. He says that the main focus and theme of this release was the power that can be cultivated from within. He continues on to say that there was a quote he saw from RZA of the Wu-Tang Clan after he had released this project, actually, that really captured some of his thought processes that went into making this album. The quote reads, "Your inner space is as vast as your outer space. Take time to look inside." After you guys are done checking that and all other fantastic releases that Graphic Melee has dropped, make sure to be on the lookout for his newest beat tape, The Clever Thief 3. Now, The Clever Thief 3 is a 30-track beat tape of music crafted in a 1 month period of time using only vinyl samples. Graphic says his goal with this beat tape was to make 30 condensed compositions and have it be more than just 30 beats, you know. So it hits you in a different kind of way, basically. He continues to explain that this is the third addition to what is actually the Clever Thief series, stating that he releases a new album within this series every 4 years. So you guys are lucky you're here for this year. Make sure you're here in 4 more years so you can get the Clever Thief 4. You heard it here first. Now, currently, though, for those that are interested in checking out the Clever Thief 3, it is currently available only on graphicmelee.com, which the link for that will be down below. But it will be available on Graphic Melee's Bandcamp on April 20th and available on all other streaming services April 22nd. So for anybody who is interested in checking that out, purchasing a copy from him, definitely make sure you go follow him on your preferred streaming service, as well as bandcamp.com and his website graphicmelee.com. Go cop you a copy of that. Cop you a copy of that. I like that. And go support my man Graphic Melee. Now, the last thing Graphic Melee wants me to say before I wrap this up is that he's always making beats as well as always writing, so definitely be on the lookout for more music to come after The Clever Thief 3 is officially out everywhere. I mean, the dude's dropped 23 solo projects in 11 years. Come on now. You think he's going to stop now? Make sure you go ahead and follow my dude Graphic Melee. You go check out his music because this man is non-stop on the grind. Make sure you follow Sunday Shoutouts as well on Instagram, Facebook, and here at the YouTube channel. You know how it is. I appreciate y'all tuning in this week. And until next week, peace.